Hello. I'm going to tell you something that I've learned. I'm trying to get this tree view as I do that. My face might look a little weird because it never looks good to be looking up at a face. So I apologize for that, but I think the tree view is worth it. So, here's what I have to say. It's a hard thing to accept. It's also an important thing and a lovely thing to accept. And that is that you are 100% responsible for the position you're in. And when I say position, I've used this in past videos. I don't just mean your physical position, your geographical position. I mean your mental position, your personality, your what you like and dislike, who you're around, how much money you have, all that stuff. So you may think this is preposterous. Like, these things are not in your control at all, practically, some of them, right? You can't just be like, I can't just manifest $1 million in front of me. Well, you're right. But the rules of the game were designed by you. It's just that you don't know it. You don't know you designed the rules because you're just too far down the rabbit hole. Let me just, I don't know how to say this, but if you just be extremely conscious of what you're doing all the time, you'll start noticing how you are sabotaging yourself. See, most of us are not conscious enough to realize that we're actually sabotaging ourselves most of the time. And then we blame others. We say, why did the world put me in this position? Instead of taking all the responsibility yourself. The way I see it is like this. If you want to blame other people, then you can't say that you have free will. You basically have to say you're a robot. That's just doing its robot thing, which is that it's blaming others for stuff that's out of its control because it's a robot. So it has no autonomy, has no control. But if you want to believe you have free will, you better damn well take full responsibility for all things, all actions, all things that have put you where you are. And you better take your part of the responsibility of the world's position. Not just your position, but also the world's position. So if you say, oh, the government sucks right now, or oh, everyone's greedy, the world sucks. Well, aren't you partaking in capitalism? Aren't you following the laws of government? Isn't the government helping you to have the food on your table and be able to have the money system that you have that allows you to go get drinks on Friday nights with your friends or buy your favorite book off of, the Notebook or whatever? All I'm saying is, don't be hypocritical. If you want to change something about something, go do it. Don't say other people should change it. Just go do it yourself if it really matters that much to you. But if you just like complaining, you can do that too. this may come off as really condescending, and this is a great example of how I'm failing to be conscious of how I communicate. See, if I was a better communicator and a more compassionate communicator, I could communicate this information in such a way that it would not feel condescending. And I don't mean for it to be condescending, but I hear myself, and I can hear how I can sound condescending sometimes. When I myself am even at fault for the things that I'm being condescending about. So I realized this ain't easy. Everybody falls into this trap of not taking responsibility for their position. I mean, if not everybody does it, that's great. If you're taking full responsibility, oh my God, I respect you so much. But how can you know when you've taken full responsibility? I don't know if you can know that. There's no fine line. It's like, oh, you reach this point, now you're taking full responsibility of your actions. It's more like an infinite spectrum, you know? So, yeah, taking full responsibility. And so how do you do this? Just by noticing. All my things, usually, not always, but they come back to sort of having an awareness about yourself. It's very difficult to have an awareness about yourself. Sometimes you have to get lost before you can find yourself, if you know what I mean. Like, you have to fall fully onto the ground. If you were teeter-tottering, you can't realize that you were teeter-tottering until you fall all the way onto the ground. And then you can learn how to pick yourself up and even not teeter-totter anymore. You can fix the teeter-tottering. I hope that makes sense. But basically, to put it in context of, for me, like how I'm relating to this, is I thought, now this is going to be a wild trip. Oh yeah, I was saying that like all my videos come back to consciousness and like meditation. I don't know if I finished that sentence, but that's what I meant. Anyways, and ego. That's the other one. I thought that I needed less ego. I thought that I needed to increase my consciousness, that my problem was I wasn't conscious enough. And that I needed more consciousness to get myself out of the hole I was in. But actually, what turned out to be true is I had built an ego around raising consciousness and thinking that I was better than other people, or maybe not better, but just like more awake because I was on the path of, you know, self-realization, because I was feeling like I was walking that path. I had developed an ego around that. I had developed a spiritual ego. And I thought that actually what I was doing was getting rid of ego. But I think what I realize now is, well, one, it's not about getting rid of ego. Because I believe that ego is necessary for existence. If you don't have an ego, you literally can't exist. Ego is just a point of view. It's a way for you to exist. So ego is good. If you want to exist, ego is good. So that's the one thing. You can't fool yourself that you're getting rid of your ego if you, like, you basically have to exist in order, but that requires ego. So you're just always going to have ego. It's just a part of us. So stop trying to get rid of your ego. That's dumb. At least that's what that's my point of view right now. And so then the other thing I realized is it's not about, like, going one way and one way is always better. It's about a balance between the two. So it's, if you're too much into the, you know, non-ego, like your ego is about non-ego, you need to fall back into ego. You need to start developing a story for yourself. You need to start getting grounded into life. You need to start sort of diving into the illusion a little more. So, yeah.